edition of Shaw University Roundtable. I'm your host, Charlotta Herring. Shaw University Roundtable is a news and public affairs show produced by the students in the Department of Mass Communications at Shaw. This show is made possible by a partnership with Raleigh Television Network and the cooperating Raleigh colleges. We are dedicated to presenting relevant information to college students in our area. Today, we take on the topic of campus safety. In the aftermath of the Virginia Tech massacre last year, where a student killed 32 people and wounded many others before committing suicide, campus officials nationwide have refocused their mission on keeping students safe. September is also National Campus Safety Awareness Month. While Raleigh area colleges have been fortunate not to have had violence of that scale, all schools in our region have had their share of heartbreak due to crime and violence. Today, we will be joined by several guests to talk about campus safety and the efforts to keep students out of harm's way. Our guests include Raleigh Chief of Police Harry Patrick Dolan, Chief of Police at North Carolina State Tom Younts, and Meredith College Police Chief Frank Strickland. WRAL TV anchor and host of North Carolina Most Wanted Gerald Owens joins us, along with Jane Stansel, education reporter for the Raleigh News and Observer. Plus, we'll have a roundtable chat with student body leaders of Shaw and North Carolina State to see what they are doing to promote student safety. All of that is coming up in just a moment. But first, we head over to the campus of Shaw to get a check on what's making news there by Markia Chappelle. Hey, Markia.
Hello, Charlotta. Here's what's making news at Shaw University. 2 new buildings now dot the landscape of the campus. This one you see here is the university's new Science Research Center, slated to open in a matter of days. And across campus, future scientists, doctors, and lawyers are getting their first lessons. Shaw's new Child Development Center is already opening for business serving children in our community. In other news, students who started classes at Shaw this year had to come to school with more money in their wallets. Tuition rose to nearly $19,000. That's about a $1,500 increase from the year before.
I feel like we're paying too much money to go here.
University officials say, just like the rest of America, they're feeling the punch of a tough economy and rising expenses.
I suppose it is beneficial for the school as well as the students, because they get to, with that money, they get to improve the school and build on and add on to the different departments in the school.
It's a tough sell, however, to some students.
Well, I think it's already hard enough for the students here to have to take out an excess amount of loans. So I already know I'm going to be in debt out of my mind when I finish graduating from this university.
Some students say they may not be able to foot the bill and may have to transfer. Finally, Election 08 is in full swing on the campus. Shaw students turned out to hear actress-singer Tatiana Ali tell why she is supporting Democrat Barack Obama for president. Ali is best known for her role as Ashley on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Meantime, campus officials say they are also working to make sure Shaw students will be able to get information about Republican candidate John McCain at campus information sessions, saying the best voters are those who are fully informed. And that's what's making news. I'm Markia Chappelle for Shaw University Roundtable. Back to you, Charlotta.
Thanks, Markia. When we come back, a conversation about campus safety with Raleigh Police Chief Harry Patrick Dolan, Chief of Police at North Carolina State Tom Younts, and Meredith College Police Chief Frank Strickland. But first,
things got a little rough here on the yard at Shaw University campus when, according to police, some outside agitators came to the campus starting trouble. I'm Brandon Johnson, and this story is coming to you next on Shaw University's Roundtable.
campus fights and scuffles are more common than you might think. It's bad enough that campus officials have to combat the problem caused by its own students, but when outside elements come to universities to start trouble, that brings a whole different element. Shaw University Roundtable reporter Brandon Johnson picks up the story from here.
You would never know by the quiet look of things on the yard at Shaw University that this was a scene of a close call. Shaw campus security says it shut down most of the public areas at the university August 25th, following what is said to have been a verbal altercation with gang overtones. And several days later, students are still talking about it.
I feel that, you know what I'm saying, this is a place of education, and some of that stuff just need to get left in the neighborhoods, you know, especially when people are trying to come here and excel.
Witnesses say it all started after someone threw up gang signs. An argument followed. Some students reported hearing some off-campus participants making a threat to return with weapons to settle the score, And that is when campus security says it jumped into action, breaking up the crowd and shutting down the campus by imposing a curfew.
Hey, it's not a terrorist attack or nothing like that, but, you know, I like to feel safe in a community and environment. I just don't want nobody coming up on the campus or whatever and, like, trying to hurt anybody.
Campus officials have issued warnings to all students and visitors to the campus, imposing a zero-tolerance policy against any gang-related activity. Meantime, security says that students can take action by doing exactly what I'm getting ready to do, taking their IDs out their wallets and putting it around their necks. Campus security says wearing your ID helps them easily identify who belongs on campus and who does not. After all, they say police cannot be everywhere at all times, and students, like it or not, have to share some responsibility for helping keep everyone safe. I'm Brandon Johnson reporting for Shaw University Roundtable.
Joining us here now from the RTN studios are three people who know quite a bit about keeping people safe. Raleigh Chief of Police Harry Patrick Dolan is here, along with Campus Police Chief Tom Younts of North Carolina State University and Meredith College Police Chief Frank Strickland. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us.
Thank you.
September is, of course, National Campus Safety Awareness Month. Why is it so important that every college in this country have a conscious discussion about safety? Chief Strickland?
Well, it's essential that the students be able to come to classes with the assurance that they're going to be safe on the campus.
Okay. Chief Younts, do you have anything to add to that?
Well, I think it's important that the campus work together to learn what needs to be done, and because obviously the police can't be everywhere at any one time, so it's important that we work together to make it a safe environment.
Okay. Now, touching off what you said, that the police can't be everywhere at all times. Chief Dolan, everyone knows to call 911 in case of emergency. When 911 is dialed from campus, whose responsibility is it to respond, the campus security or city police?
It depends on how the phone system works. Sometimes campuses have a phone number that is an emergency number for people to dial on campus. But if that exchange is 911, just like an outside exchange, that's going to go to the communication center in Raleigh. And then we will dispatch, but we'll also refer to the campus. For instance, if we get a 911 call, and sometimes it happens on a cell phone, and citizens have to understand, sometimes you dial 911 on a cell phone, depending on what tower it hits, sometimes there'll be a different jurisdiction that'll get the call. And then it's always referred to the appropriate agency. And in the case of a campus, we'll call with NC State, we'll make certain that they know because they have emergency responders and full-time law enforcement. If it's an agency that has campus security, campus safety, we'll notify them, but we also will be responding. Because with some of the universities and colleges, we are also their first responders. But in the case of NC State, that has a full-fledged police department, public safety agency, they're going to be first responders, and we're more primarily their backup.
Okay, so what students need to know is when 911 is dialed, someone will respond.
Oh, certainly, and to make certain, not always do we know exactly where they're at. Enhanced 911 systems, the telecommunicator will get up on the screen not just the fact that there's been a call, but also where the call is coming from. But that's not always the case. Sometimes there's problems, or sometimes there's an electronic system that's saying the call's coming from one place when it's another. So always tell our students to tell us exactly where they're at, what dorm they're in, what floor they're in, and what room they're in. Critical information that we have to know right away.
Okay, okay. And how do colleges work with the city to coordinate emergency responses and safety plans? I know a lot has been done in our state in view of the Virginia Tech massacre. Chief Strickland, excuse me. How do you think that they're working together?
Quite well. I have a mutual aid agreement with the Raleigh Police Department